great.
I haven't seen her.
I don't have a monthly report.
There she is. There she is, Tom.
She just did.
It'll be cool there. Yeah, mine'll be real quick. I gotta get in the habit of taking my daggum laptop with me.
Let us come to order. Today is Tuesday, May the 10th. We're at a regular city council meeting for the city of Mexico Beach. Please rise for the invocation and the pledge of allegiance. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight with heavy hearts. We have many in our city that are sick, injured, and we pray especially for them. A lot of our employees, a lot of their relatives, we especially lift them up to you tonight. We pray, Lord, that you would help us and guide us in this meeting, that we might do your will. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll.
Ms. Blackburn?
Here.
Ms. Albrecht?
Here.
Mayor Bailey? Ms. Castro?
Here.
Mr. Tindler?
I have a few brief comments this evening. First, for those of you who don't know, Mr. Tindler is away. He's being treated. He's ill. He sent a very plain email to Mel, said he couldn't be here and he really hated to end his political career that way. It was a very graphic email. But we're going to remember to keep Jeff in our prayers, and this would have been his final meeting with the council. This is also Ms. Castro's final regular meeting with the council. And I'd like to thank them both for their service to Mexico Beach. Jeff's been on the council for 2 years. He's done a good job. So has Ms. Castro for 4 years. She's done a very good job, and we appreciate that very much. We have quite a bit going on in the city. I'm glad to see a good crowd here tonight, and we are ready for council comments, please.
And I have a couple. Just wanted to announce the Mexico Beach Farmers Market is this Saturday at Sunset Park from 9 to 1 again. And the Special Events Committee has decided, since there's so much traffic congestion at Sunset Park during June and July with our summer visitors, that we have decided to hold our farmers market for June and July at the Veterans Park, to return to Mexico Beach in August when some of that traffic congestion is reduced. So just be aware of that. I also want to say thank you to Tanya for her years of service to the city of Mexico Beach. She has faithfully researched issues. She's been the catalyst of many good changes, and I, for one, will miss her. So thank you, Tanya.
Well, it's a good thing I thought about that too. Otherwise, I would have been the only one not commenting. I want to thank Tanya and Jeff. And Jeff is, as the mayor said, he's beginning treatment for pancreatic cancer. And we're praying for him, Carol, and the doctors who are treating him. Jeff ran his campaign as the money man, watching the bottom line, and that he has done. He always looked for ways to save the taxpayer money. Tanya's been on the council for 4 years, and she has always worked diligently. Every meeting she came with questions and information that she has researched. These questions and information certainly made me think. Sometimes the questions and information no one really wanted to hear. Sometimes they weren't always accepted, but her questions, everything that she did was to make sure that Mexico Beach was the best she can be. There are numerous things that she can do. She pushed real hard in getting our stormwater issues addressed. She encouraged the city engineers to go for a grant for the park, and we have received a $100,000 park grant, and Under the Palms Playground and Walking Path are because of this grant. The municipal park will get an overhaul as soon as our city hall is built. She worked at promoting and implementing a user fee at the boat ramp. And once the council approved it and came on board, in the first year, that generated almost $20,000 the first year. She also did research to indicate that the state database had over 70 homes that were located in Mexico Beach, incorrectly shown as Port St. Joe, Gulf County. Her research discovered this, and the error was corrected, and now Mexico Beach is benefiting from that corrected error, and they are on Bay County tax base. 70 homes plus were for Gulf County. And Tanya did her research. She worked harder than I will ever be able to do. I'll guarantee you that right now. I wish I could, but I couldn't. And so I just want to thank Jeff and Tanya for all their endless hours that she has put in to make Mexico Beach the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kester?
I just want to say that serving the people of Mexico Beach has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. I've just met so many wonderful people. I appreciate your support. I'm excited about all the positive changes that this council has made, especially over the past couple of years. It's been a pleasure working with you guys. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to be involved, but family comes first, and my family needs me right now, but I'm not going anywhere. So you'll see me around. Thank you so much.
Okay, great, thank you. Citizens' comments. If you have a comment, please come to the podium, tell us who you are and where you live, and you have 3 minutes, please.
Steve Ringmeyer, first I would say, Ms. Castro, thank you so much. You've been one of the best council members we've had in this city in 20-some years I've been here. I come here today to address the CBG grant, or whatever it's called, and some very disturbing, what I call lies. Y'all might not call them lies, but I think it's very disturbing. On September 22nd, Mayor Bailey wrote a letter to Nick, the city attorney, in regards to a bunch of lies and false accusations about Rustic Sands. Mr. Bailey clearly stated, misled, or is incompetent, and did not do his due diligence to find out the truth about Rustic Sands Mobile Home Park. He personally attacked myself in this letter, and he personally attacked my family business. Mr. Bailey's attack on my family's business is disturbing. He clearly has been out to shut down my business since September 22nd, over 8 months. Why? Or to stop the CBG grant to help those people who need this grant. The state of Florida Department of Health regulates my campground, always has, always will. Mr. Bailey, the mayor, and council can have input, but they will never have jurisdiction or authority to regulate my facility, any RV park, any mobile home, or any swimming pool in the state of Florida. Mr. Bailey, your lies are disturbing. Your lack of laws, regulations, and your lack of due diligence to find out from September to today that Rustic Sands has been a licensed legal RV park since 1970 is shocking and appalling. The CB grant is here to provide the help to those people who are with low income, living in bad conditions, and to get a better quality of life. Your refusal to sign these documents is a dereliction of duty. Your individual effort to shut down this program for over 30 days and to help these people is disgusting. I am asking you to resign immediately. Failure to resign will result in my 100% attempt to do a recall. I currently have over 80 signatures since yesterday. Your attacks on my family are, I've already said, disgusting. At the last workshop, you received this letter at 10:10 in the morning. You failed to give it to the other council members, where it clearly states the state of Florida's position that you already approved this, you can't back out. I don't know why you didn't share that information, because that's even more disturbing to them than it is to me. It's a slap into the council's face. And these people have been here a lot longer than you sitting on that bench, and I find it disturbing. As a Marine, I took an oath to defend our Constitution, of repressed people, stand up for those who can't stand up for ourselves. I'm appalled that you individually are attacking this program, saying Rustic Sands has dirt roads. El Governor's got dirt roads. You ain't no one correspondence where you attack the Rustic El Governor. The condos on 15th Street, they got gravel roads. Why ain't you attacking them? I can go on, the lies. General commercial property, sir, is regulated to have mobile home park. I don't care what you think. You need to read the book. I'm going to step away because I'm livid. I made a promise to my mother before she died I wouldn't be an idiot. I've done that a lot in my life. But I'm appalled that you as a man, a military veteran, can stand there and make up lies. Rustic Sands don't have adequate play areas for the people. Anybody wants the letters, I got them. El Governor's 2.5 acres. I'm 21 acres. I got swimming pool, badminton, volleyball, horseshoes, acres of land for people to play. And you got the audacity to say I don't even provide common areas? You say in this letter that my lots are inappropriate. Let me finish. Because they're going to finish for me, so you might as well let me finish. Okay. Your comments are rude, inappropriate, and disgusting. Tanya, thank you so much. Please tell Jeff Tendler the same thing. And anybody wants to sign my petition, I'll be at your door.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Lana Harlan. I have lived in Mexico Beach for 5.5 years. I work here. I shop here. I vote here. I am a disabled veteran. I live on Social Security disability and am employed here on Mexico Beach. I've been a resident of Rustic Sands Mobile Home Park. This business has been operating as a mobile home park since the 1970s, 30 plus years. Mr. Joe Scully at the Bay County Health Department states that a state-approved mobile home park can have RVs as well as mobile homes, and a state-approved RV park can have mobile homes as well as RVs. They are combined category. Rustic Sands is approved for 25 mobile home spaces. I was at the council meeting of March 8th, 2016, where the applicant list for the 2014 CDGB grant was read aloud. My name was read aloud with an annotation that I lived in a mobile home. It was in red. You, Mr. Mayor, voted yes, along with each and every council person, to approve this applicant list, of which I am one, and I need the assistance. You can't say that you didn't know mobile homes were involved. On May 4th, 2016, a meeting was held with a surprise agenda item where the mayor decided that you no longer wanted to support this program. I am willing to accept the requirements of this grant, including the 5-year homeowner's insurance, because I intend to continue to live in this community. I demand that the tribal consultation letters be signed and forwarded to the appropriate agency today. I also demand that you, Mr. Mayor, no longer hold up this process. It's been held up a month already. And it's funny because I found a quote from you when you took office here in Mexico Beach as the mayor in the Panama City Herald and the Star newspapers of August 9th, 2015. And I quote, "Less talking and more getting things done." This is not getting things done. That is certainly not happening here. This grant will help disabled, veterans, and seniors in this community. Mr. Ted Court of the Department of Economic Opportunity has directed the city to serve those already determined to be eligible at this time. He also states that the DEO strongly advises against the city rejecting this application at this stage because there will be complaints issued. Do not hold up this process any longer, Mr. Mayor. I ask that you expedite this process. Thank you.
Anyone else, please?
Good evening. Thank you very much. My name's Luther Pickles, and I'm at 78 First Street, and we have an issue with my driveway. I think the facts are well established. If anyone have any questions about the facts of our issue, or are everyone aware of it?
I'm aware of it.
Okay. So, everyone's aware that the city crew drove a big sanitation truck on my driveway, which was meant for cars, and crushed it. Are you aware of that?
Sorry, will you
That's
say that
been
again,
told.
please?
You're aware that your truck, sanitation truck, drove on my driveway and crushed it it was intended for vehicles, not sanitation trucks.
I understand that's your report, yes.
You don't understand that it happened?
I understand what I've been told, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and at the time that it happened, city management, of course, you were not here then. In fact, the only thing that's changed are the people that make the decisions. Same driveway, everything's the same. They were made aware of it, said, we're working on the sidewalks, these people will go over there and fix your place as soon as they're through with the sidewalks. How long ago was that? Long time. So, you know, we can have disagreements, but reasonable people, they tend to make reasonable decisions and get things done. So I think you're offering me 32% of the value of replacing my driveway. The lowest bid I've got is $10,000. That's not adequate. You're 100% responsible. I'm not any responsible. I'm willing to take part of the burden. You give me $5,000, I'll fix it. Or else you can hire somebody for $6,500 and I'll pay my half and you pay your half. It's that simple. Now, I will assume 50% of what it's going to cost me to fix that place just to be through with this mess, because I'm tired of dealing with you people.
Anybody like to respond? Okay, I'll be happy to respond.
Go ahead, you respond then.
This incident happened 5 years ago.
At least.
No one at the table was at the table when it happened.
I acknowledge that.
The city staff, nobody on the city staff was on the city staff in a position of leadership at that time.
Yes, sir.
When your issue came up, Mr. Tendler and I went over and we looked at your driveway, and we got 3 bids to fix your driveway.
Uh-huh.
What was asked of us was to replace the entire driveway. Mr. Tendler and I only found damage to 600 square feet of the driveway. So what we did, we took a bid and we cut it in half and we offered you that settlement.
Okay.
That's not fair.
That's not fair. When did you go over there?
Probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago now.
And you say 600 feet is all that's damaged.
600 square feet, I measured it.
How big is the driveway?
The first 2 seconds of your driveway were damaged. They had the one that goes over the culvert and the very next one. The second one really looks like it's a crushing problem.
Well, I tell you what, since you got that bid, you send me the contract, or you give me your $32.50, I'll give him my $32.50, if you truly believe that. And that's good for me, right there. I'll end it right there.
We'll be happy to provide you with the name of the contract.
I didn't say that. You send me a contract, not a contractor. Contractors do work, contracts speak to stuff, okay? Can you get a contractor to bring me a contract for $6,500? Simple. Answer yes or no.
I believe I can, sir, but I can't tell you that just sitting here right now.
We'll sell it right now then. If you guarantee me in this meeting that you will do that, we can sell it right now.
Well, the council discussed this, and we decided it was not the city's obligation to hire the contractor to fix it, but it was the city's obligation to pay for it.
Well, then pay for it.
And
But don't tell me 30% of what it is. And don't tell me 600 square feet. I mean, we can go over there tonight. Let's all load up and go over there and measure it right now. I'm happy to. Let's go measure it. Come on.
I thought we already discussed that we were gonna pay half. This was at, how many meetings ago?
Yeah.
I mean, we agreed that we would pay half.
Of the lowest bid.
Of the
Half.
lowest bid,
Half of what, though?
of the lowest
Half
bid.
the lowest bid.
And
Okay, so where is the bid? Show me the bid.
I'll be happy to get it for you.
I'd like to settle this tonight, you know? It's already been put off 6 years, you know? That's why there's nobody here. It's not my fault, it's your fault.
So can I just ask a question? Okay, so we have that bid that you can provide to this gentleman, and the council agreed to pay half of that bid, and
But
we.
ma'am,
will
let
see-
me just say
we-
one thing, just to get, you know, to keep going too far. I'm not gonna accept them fixing that little section of my driveway. It's crushed all the way up to where the garbage cans were. That truck back from the road all the way up to my fence.
What we
Excuse
had.
me, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I believe what we had instructed the city administrator is to get with Nick and draw up some type of an agreement. I believe that's what we said. We would get Nick to draw up some agreement and make you that offer of half of that, split that cost with you. If you're not in agreement with that, then certainly that is your right. And if you will get with Mel, I believe that if you're not willing to accept that after you review the bid.
That's why I'm
then-
here. I've already done those steps that you're
Right,
suggesting.
then Mel would need to bring that before the council, so perhaps that needs to be on, I don't know if we need to call a special meeting or what you guys want to do, but if you're rejecting that offer, then we need to.
I think it's self-rejecting when you're, you say 30% of what it's gonna actually cost me.
Yeah, well, all I know is the bid that we had, the council agreed to pay 50% of that bid to split the cost with you. So we can get you the details of that bid, so you'll see exactly what that covers. And I believe that bid was to repair it all,
It was
right?
for the entire
So-
driveway.
Yeah.
We're not talking 600 feet, we're talking, we agreed to pay half the whole driveway, which is more than 600 feet.
And you got that
And you-
information from the city that we were going to pay, we were going to give you half of,
I got it today when I came to talk to Mr. Mayo. That's when I got it. I mean, that's how much y'all consider me, you know, you didn't even come to me. I had to come to you again, you know?
Yeah, and I apologize for that because council voted on it weeks and weeks
Weeks
ago.
ago.
You should have already been contacted and,
But, you know, I just think that, you know, it's really gone on long enough. And I'm telling you that that sidewalk, that driveway cannot be fixed for $6,500.
but that, one of the quotes, I think the quotes that I saw were for the whole driveway. Am I correct, Philip? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Or
so.
6,500.
And that's for
It was
6,500.
68, I thought.
thought it was
I thought it was
6,900.
68, 69.
6,900.
But, you know, even
Is
then,
it-
I don't feel like I ought to bear 50% of the financial burden when you're 100% responsible for tearing up my driveway. And I don't understand that. I mean, how do you come to that conclusion that I ought to pay for 50% of something that you're 100% responsible for? That's why I'm saying, if you'll raise it to 5,000, I'm willing to settle with you, you know? But that's just too punitive to me, you know? Why would you punish me like that? It's-
I honestly don't understand why you're saying that we damaged the whole driveway when I didn't find a single crack in that third section.
Well, I mean, there is one little section that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's either 7 or 8 sections. There's one section that doesn't have one lick of damage. I'm not asking you to do anything to it, but those other 7 have cracks in them.
And he backed down the driveway.
He backed right down the middle of the driveway. You're going to hit every section. The only reason he didn't get that last one is because the trash cans were sitting on it. I mean, why would you expect to give up 50% of your responsibility? You know, didn't somebody tell a driver of a truck you can't drive a 30-ton truck on a person's driveway? Wouldn't you think that was somebody's responsibility?
Yes.
I mean, all I'm asking for you to be fair with me. If you'll pay 5,000, I'll pay the whole rest of it, whatever it is.
Mr. Pickles, we've also asked for documentation. It has been 5 years. And we've asked for documentation that you've come before the council asking for this request. And
Never
that-
before, because it was handled through the,
Yeah.
what was the guy's name that was here, Mr. Mayo?
Hubbard.
Hubbard. It was all handled through him. I mean, he gave me his honest, solemn word, and I know you weren't here then, but it doesn't matter. You know, back in the woods where I come from, people's word means a lot. May not mean much in Mexico Beach. Where I come from, a man's word means a lot. So-
I agree with that, and I'm sorry, and I, you know, I hate to have to apologize for something that happened in the past, but you have the patience of Job, because you've waited 5 years.
And I don't think it's unreasonable for me to ask that y'all take $5,000 of responsibility, even if it's $6,500. But my quote's higher than that, I'll be honest with you. I haven't found anybody that will do it for that. But if you just say, you know, we'll accept what we did to your driveway, we damaged it, and you pay your little part and we'll pay our big part. That's a simple thing. Y'all in a voting section, you can do it right now.
Yeah. Does anyone want to make a motion to change our 3,750 to 5,000?
I don't know that we can, if it's not an issue that's on the agenda, can we do that?
We can, as a matter of
We
fact,
can.
I was gonna bring something up, our meeting ordinance says that by a motion and a vote of the council, I believe, Adrian, we can discuss something at the regular meeting. You wanna-
Maybe it needs to be 4,900, I'll go down to 4,900 if it needs to be under 5,000.
Sir, we're not at all calling you untruthful, but it took us over a month to find anybody who could even verify that it happened.
That's that man right there.
He's the only one,
Yeah, ask him. He'll verify.
and it's due diligence on our part when we're spending the
I
citizens' money.
understand that. I'm 100% with you. I've served on 2 different city councils, okay? I understand every
Well,
bit of
then,
it.
you appreciate us, and we appreciate you.
I appreciate you, I really do.
It's a
But I
hard
do
problem.
think that you ought to stand up for what you're obligated to do.
And I believe that too. But your quote and our quote is not the same right now. Now, Adrian, you were asking a question, do you have an answer? About the,
We can, I
Bring
can
it.
make a motion to suspend the rules and add this item to the agenda. Chair, entertain a motion. I'll make a motion that we suspend the rules and add this item to the agenda and discuss it.
okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. It is a very small amount of money, and there were 3 bids. $5,000 is a happy medium, and I can agree with that. That's still half of the complete driveway. It's about the center bid. No other discussion?
Well, I mean, you know, I've said all along that if we damaged it, we should fix it. I didn't go out there and measure because I'm not a concrete specialist. I couldn't tell you what cracked the driveway. So I just listened to Mr. Hall, who watched it occur, and that was good enough for me. I think the concern was.
Oh, excuse me, I got to get a chair.
I think the concern that the council had was we were replacing the entire driveway, and we had council members, as the mayor said, who went out there and said the entire driveway wasn't damaged. I'm comfortable, I mean, we're talking about a little over $1,000 increase in the original offer. I'm comfortable with that if that means we can settle it and take care of that.
I am too. And I'm sorry he just found out today.
Me too.
Yeah, that's a mistake. So somebody needs to make a motion second.
Okay, you want to make a motion for that?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we settle with Mr. Pickle for $5,000.
Okay, is there a second?
Second,
Please call the roll.
Ms. Blackburn?
No.
Ms. Albert?
yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Ms. Castro?
Yes.
Mr. Pickle, we just voted to give
I'll
you,
come do whatever y'all want me to do, I'll come to it.
we're going to provide a document for you,
All right, I'll be up.
and we're going to
Mail.
provide a document and a check, okay, and get
I
the
thank
driveway
you very much.
fixed.
I
Okay?
appreciate we got this behind us, is the main thing. Thank you, sir.
Me too. Okay? It's a little unusual. Other citizens' comments, please. Let's try to keep it about 3 minutes, please.
Okay, I'll certainly do that. Thank you for allowing me to do this. My name is Richard Woodruff, and my wife's here. We live on 37th Street. And recently, we had to be gone for a few weeks, and when we returned, we found out that there was an ordinance, 633, I believe, that was passed. And the people on my street are very upset.
Can you speak up, sir? They can't hear you in the back if you could.
I don't know where it's turned on or not. I thought it was.
It's on.
I apologize. But anyway, we're upset with the way the garbage is proposed to be collected starting June the 1st, in which the people there, residents, occupants, owners, whomever are in those townhouses would have to bring the garbage cans out to the street where it would be unloaded, and then the cans go back to the front of the building. Now, I sent a letter to you, Mr. Mayor, and to the council people and other people last week. I haven't received comments from anyone yet, and really at this point, I would like to get your comments. And we have requested that the street be exempt from the garbage pickup cans. Currently, it's a wonderful system you have, and I've only been here 21 years. And, you know, when we first came here, that street, there wasn't as much traffic on it, but there was still much garbage, debris, cans, dumpsters, you name it. And it was a mess. And through the good work of the city and the owners and other people living there, it's in good shape now. But you know, on the weekends now, and then later through June and July, that street will be filled up with people going in. And that's the first thing they see at Mexico Beach, is what that looks like. And now I'd like to comment just how good the city has been from the 90s up until now in picking up the garbage. They go through, pick up the bags in the back of the street, load them, and it's been very efficient, we think. But anyway, the guys doing that, driving the trucks, picking up the trash, they have been wonderful. And I haven't heard complaints from them. And everybody is pleased, and everybody has a good vision of what the city is like now when they go down that and park in that street. Going to the pier, fishing, beach, you know what. But anyway, I don't want to take up all your time, but I would like you consider that letter and get back to us, because the people are really upset. Any questions? Or my wife's here. You have anything?
There's just no place to put those cans.
Yes, that's in the letter.
Yes, sir, we have it. I've read your letter.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And again, thanks to the city, the police, they do a great job.
Good evening. I'm Jerry Ashcraft, and I own Gulf Coast Vacation Rentals, and I have 37 rental properties in Mexico Beach. And I am here at the invitation of your Public Works Director, Mr. Hall, to just get some clarification. My company wants to be compliant with whatever you pass, but we want to make sure we're clear about what's going to happen and when it's going to happen, and would like to ask that you make a couple of changes to the ordinance, if at all possible. I've read the ordinance, and the cover sheet that I received, that I downloaded from your website, kind of puts it in layman's terms. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, what you're asking us to do, you're asking us to ask our guests to get up before 7 o'clock in the morning and have their container at curbside for pickup. And that's not it. Well, whatever on Canal Street, if I have properties on Canal Street, whatever time your your public service starts picking up garbage. If they start on Canal Street, then they've got to be out there on the curb early, right? As I understand, they start there and they work their way back. That's asking an awful lot for people to get up that time of the morning. If you don't mind me referring to Gulf County, we've been putting garbage out curbside down there for a long time. They do allow us to put it out the night before. If a bear gets into the garbage, it's my responsibility to pick it up. And we do that, and that's no issue. But what's going to happen is our guests they're not going to get them out by 7 o'clock. They will pull them out there, but it'd be 9 or 10 o'clock after your truck is gone, and then it's going to be the responsibility of my homeowners or me to get it back and back out or take it somewhere and have it emptied. So another thing is the size of the cans that you're requesting us to use, from 15 to 32 gallon. You cannot find a 32 gallon can with wheels on it. You can find a 35 gallon can with wheels on it. So you're asking someone to bring a 32 gallon can to curbside. A lot of my properties don't have lawns on Mexico Beach, so they're walking on uneven ground. You're asking them to bring a 32 gallon can to curbside. If you move that to a 35 gallon, we could get cans with wheels on them with a nice sturdy handle and an attached top, so you don't have to worry about losing your lids all the time. So I'd like to request that maybe you could change the ordinance to a 35 gallon can rather than a 32 gallon can. And you talk about a containment area, that the cans, when they're not curbside on the morning of pickup, should be kept in a containment area. And I'd like some clearance on that, what the containment area would be. And then to request, if we built a containment area, and I'm sure you've seen some, Pristine Properties I think has them at all of their properties now. If we build that containment area and it's right, not on the easement, but right behind the easement on our homeowner's property, 3-sided, so it's easy access for them to get in. If we put a containment area like that on our property, would your public works people be able to pick it up from the containment area rather than pulling it out and going curbside, going right up by the highway? And I guess that's what, when you say curbside, you're referring to the highway.
I mean, I can address that. That's not a change in our new ordinance. That's been in the ordinance for years, that garbage cans are supposed to be screened from view, and they have to be either on the side or the rear of the property.
Right.
That's not a change. That's
Right.
been out
Well,
there for a while.
but I think it says containment area, and maybe you've let us by with just keeping them around behind the house, as long as you can't see it from the road. But this actually mentions containment area.
Yeah, and
So-
I'm not familiar with the containment area terminology, but I know the ordinance says they have to be screened from public view. You
Right.
can't, and that's the
Right.
side or the back.
So that's another thing, and you brought up a good point there, is inside a carport, is that, like, are y'all familiar with the Waterside Village properties over here? You know, that's where our cans stay now. They stay right by the utility room, up by the door, but you can actually see it from the road. If you ride by, you could see that can. I mean, you'd have to turn and look that way, but you can see that can there. We just want a clear, you know, if you could do something like this little page, but make it a little more clear, that we could create a magnet for our refrigerators so our guests know exactly what's going on, and my homeowners know, because if a $500 fine is assessed, I'm not paying it. And I'm going to tell my homeowners that. If they assess the fine, you need to know that you'll be responsible for paying it. I cannot be responsible for that, because I just can't. But I do want to be compliant. I understand your reasoning for doing this. I think it's a good idea, but if we could just get some clearance. June the 1st is just right around the corner, and it's an awful lot to try to get done and make sure that both our guests, now we've got something else we've got to send out to our guests and tell them that they can or cannot do, and have them sign it, so they're responsible. And then, please don't forget my request about moving it up to that's a Rubbermaid canister that I can shop locally and buy it from the hardware store right here in Mexico Beach. That's a 35 gallon rather than a 32. It'd be real easy to pull to the curbside. Has an attached lid. Would make it easy for my guests to do it, or someone else if they had to do it. The other thing I would like to address is the overnight parking of boat trailers at the boat ramp. Someone mentioned, I think it was you, Miss Linda, that Tanya had worked on a fee for using the ramp and how much income it generated. I would hope that maybe y'all would consider doing something like that. We have so much construction in Mexico Beach that only allows 2 vehicles. So if you're bringing a boat, that's a vehicle. So we have sent them to that park and told them they could park their boats there. So I'd like to request that you reconsider that as well, even if it were collecting a fee to stay overnight or to park your boat overnight there. Again, here it is, 1 month before time for them to be here, and we're writing them a letter saying, don't bring your boats. We have nowhere for you to park them. You know, if you've got 2 vehicles, you can no longer park there. That, I mean, our tourists generate income. I know they generate problems too. I'll be the first to say that. But we're asking people that bring revenue in. I urge you to contact your property managers or your VRBOs and ask them how much tax income they generate. And these homeowners don't have an exemption on their properties. They're investment properties, so they don't pay an exemption, and they generate an awful lot of tax dollars for the city of Mexico Beach. And 1 month out, we're going to call these people and give them, you can't park your boat trailers there anymore, and you've got to get up early in the morning and get your garbage out if you expect for it to be picked up. Thank you so much for your time, and if we could get, as soon as possible, something that we can get in the mail to our homeowners that would be clear, I would appreciate that. Do y'all have any questions of me, or?
Well, I have a comment. Chair, it's good to see you again. We haven't seen each other in a number of years.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your input is appreciated.
Thank you.
As with all of our ordinances, we got enough common sense to know that we did the best we could in structuring the ordinance, and we tried to cover all our bases. But you know, we've got such a myriad of different kinds of homes and properties in Mexico Beach and sizes and everything else that we're going to have to be a little bit flexible when we start this. We've got to set a rule and try to stay with it, but if it doesn't work, we've got to know that we've got to have enough flexibility. It's just like we put flexibility in the ordinance. If a person is incapable of bringing their garbage out, they can put it right where they always have, and we'll go get it, and we'll bring the can back. So that's the kind of flexibility we were looking for.
I think with us, it's not whether they're physically able to or not. Now, with the gentleman that was here before, there might be people down there that would be an issue. The thing is, they're just not going to roll out of bed and get it done that time in the morning.
And I don't think everybody should think they're going to show up at 7 o'clock. Everybody that lives in Mexico Beach knows it takes all day to pick up the garbage twice a week.
But what is unknown is what time you're going to be at 107B 41st Street and what time you're going to be here. So you tourists, you have to let them know. You have to give them their little guideline and say it's on this day by this time or the night before. And if it's, we can ride around and make sure they've put them out the night before, and we certainly would be responsible for anything that went on during the night with the bears. I mean, we're dealing with them down there too. Or maybe do us like the state does us. If we're not compliant, you come in and you give us something and we become compliant and you tear it up. That's what the state does. When they come and inspect me, if I don't have a bed pad on one of my beds, they write me up. When they're back again, they go back, they look, they tear it up.
So,
I understand. We're going to have to at least give it a
if we
try
can be
before we
clear,
find out if it
I
needs
know,
changing.
I understand, and I hope maybe some suggestions, especially the 35-gallon can. That's a nice looking can, and it's sturdy. It would be easy to roll in and out. You don't have to worry about losing lids and things like that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time. When could I expect something, or do I just roll with this that you have already, or?
5 years, that would be good.
I'm 2 weeks before my
For the next council,
guest
so-
arriving, yes.
Well, I will tell you that it takes 2 months to pass any changes to the ordinance, so you
Yes.
have at least 2 months before anything will change.
Okay.
But if you're looking just for some specifics, we have all this recorded, and we'll look at those specifics. If you need some plain language, we'll provide
Okay.
it for you between now and then.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, and thank you for your
Can I
time.
just provide a comment on the boat trailer parking? We did look at the boat trailer parking issue quite extensively. Again, that's a current ordinance that hasn't been enforced, that we were just beginning to enforce that ordinance. The issue is that parking lot gets so full during the summer, and the council, we agreed that just letting people park there long-term would prevent people who were boating that day from being able to park and get to the ramp. We agreed that there were storage facilities, 2 or 3, within our city. So if someone's coming down, they can certainly contact one of those to make arrangements to store their boat there. And I think that was the, that was my understanding, that we would allow them. So we've got, I know there's one on 15th Street, there's one right behind City Hall.
It's full, it's full. There's no
Yeah, which is, yeah, part of the issue, and we just don't have the room at the boat ramp to store people's boat trailers. I mean, that's just really the issue. We don't have the space at the ramp. That's all.
Anyone else, please? And I thought it was going to be a 30-minute meeting. Okay.
My name is Leonard Giffen. I live at 104 19th Street, New Mexico Beach. I just received a notice about the garbage change. And there's a couple things in there that don't seem right. One is that you're going to shut down, only pick up garbage once a week, 3 months out of the year. But if you look at it, from September the 1st to May the 1st, most all your rental units are rented by Northfield, people up north. And most of them only have 2 people in the house. It seems reasonable that you could take from September the 1st to May the 1st, pick up once a week, and you'd be able to save a lot of money that way. Because 2 people ain't gonna put 2 32-gallon cans full every week. And then you got 4 months there that you got your north people, visitors and things. If you cut down your pickup for 8 months out of the year and go back to your normal pickup 4 months out of the year, you would save a heck of a lot of money. It'd be enough money saved to pay the difference that you're losing now. If you just pick up once a week everywhere for 8 months or 6 months instead of 3, you would save a lot of money that way. Gas and labor, and you'd save enough money to pay those people that are working, sanitation people, to go in the yard and pick up the garbage and bring it out and put it in the truck. That would take care of your deal where you have to take it out to the curb. And people coming in 4 months out of the year as rentals for a week, a day, 2 days, they're not going to take that garbage out there. It's going to be left right there for the next person. In the street, or wherever that garbage can is, it's going to be left there. Them people ain't going to take it out. That ain't their responsibility. They're just renting the place for a week, or 1 day, or 2 days. But if you change your collection from 6 to 8 months a year, 1 day a week, you would be able to save enough money to pay your sanitation workers to go in the yard and pick up that garbage, so so the people would not have to take their garbage to the road, which most of them ain't gonna do it. I spent 30-something years working to retire, getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I don't feel like that. Right now, getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning is hard on me. And my garbage men, you say, what time they come by? They come by between 7 and 8 o'clock every Monday and Thursday at my house. I know because I got a little Yorkie that lets me know. And he raises hell when they come in. And they trash the compactor truck right in front of the house too, but that's no big pain. But I'm just asking you, look at this ordinance you got. You straighten it out a little bit, do a little bit more here and there. You could probably pay for it and save money that you wouldn't have to do anything to it. People would still be able to leave the garbage where it's at, and you would save money. You'd be able to work on your trucks 8 months out of the year because you only pick it up once a week. Just look at it and see what you think. Thank you.
Mayor, if I could just clarify something real quick.
Well, hold 1 second. Anyone else, please? Okay.
I hear a lot of tourists and visitors aren't going to get up in the morning to take out the trash. I've dealt with enough of these phone calls since those trifolds hit. I've got a pretty standard explanation that I give everybody, and I've been asked that question 1,000 times. Do you expect the tourists to get up and take the trash out? I say no. What we expect is the homeowner, the property owner, to take responsibility for their garbage. I've also said that we're not saying that this ordinance is perfect in any way, shape, or form. We've already discussed the fact that we may have to tweak some things, move some things, and change some things 6 months down the road. We know this. I've talked to quite a few people, but just to clarify, I haven't said anything that we're expecting tourists to do anything because they're here to visit. We're expecting the property owners to take that responsibility.
Okay. Moving right along. Ladies and gentlemen, you have the items on the consent agenda. Any amendments or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion to adopt this consent agenda?
So moved.
A second.
Second.
Let's call the roll.
Ms. Blackburn?
Yes.
Ms. Almond?
Yes.
Mayor Manning?
Yes.
Ms. Castro?
Yes.
Purple Rish.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Britton. I'm from Dewberry Preble Rish. Normally this is the time where we get into going through all of our existing projects and new ones that might be coming up. Tonight we have Cameron Morris with us, who's going to give a short presentation on NIFWIF funding and how it may be able to help the city get some projects done, and just an overview of the process and other projects that have been completed using it or in process of being completed using it. He can also provide...
Can you tell us what that acronym means?
Yeah, that is the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation Funding Program, NIFWIF. He can also provide a little bit of information on the Bay County Restore funding program that was, I think, mentioned previously about the possibility to get it to fund repairs on the pier. So with that, I'll turn it over to Cameron and let him take it.
Well, I appreciate y'all allowing me to come speak with y'all tonight. I think everybody got a printout of the PowerPoint that I made. And I'm a very informal presenter, so feel free to stop me at any time if you have any questions or comments or anything. Brief background about myself. I moved down here to start work with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Worked for a fantastic program called the Partners Program, where we worked with private landowners to do restoration projects, primarily water related. And then in 2013 started with Preble Rish and have been doing a lot of the same type of efforts. And so tonight I'm going to be speaking to you about the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation. We call it NIFWIF. Specifically, their pot of funding that they received from the BP settlement, which is the Gulf Environmental Benefit Fund. So just briefly about the oil spill. So in 2013, If you want to hit the next slide for me, please. Yes, sir. District Court approved 2 plea agreements, and essentially out of those plea agreements, NIFWIF was awarded about $2.5 billion. Then of that, Florida is expected to receive about $356 million for natural resource projects, and that's over a 5-year phase. The bullet points listed below are kind of the top 3 priorities that they wish to fund in terms of project-wise, and those are to restore and maintain the ecological functions of landscape-scale coastal habitats, restoring and maintaining the ecological integrity of coastal bays and estuaries, and then replenish and protect living resources, including oysters, snapper, and other reef fish, bird population, sea turtles, and marine mammals. So all our fun critters. The state of Florida itself, to date, has received around $70 million, and we've funded around 21 restoration projects. I've listed all the projects that have been funded up to this point in the state of Florida. And what's marked in red are projects that address water quality. And what we've seen trend-wise since 2013 when NIFWIF started awarding projects is water quality. Stormwater was a major priority of theirs. And just, I mean, here in the state of Florida already, you know, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 5 out of the 21 already solely stormwater related and water quality improvement related. So when you hit the next couple slides, these are just, NIFWIF provides some general overviews of the projects that they've funded up to this point. The first one was to improve water quality in the Choctawhatchee River Basin. And that was just an assessment for $931 million. I mean, $931,000. I'll do it a lot more. The next one is for Bayou Chica restoration, and they actually had a stormwater master plan in place, and so they received $11 million to implement stormwater best management practices. Next project is over in Destin Harbor, where they addressed Joe's Bayou and Indian Bayou, and they got around $4 million to address stormwater. And again, this was they had a basin management plan that addressed stormwater and water quality issues that they've been noticing over the years. Next is Boggy Bayou Watershed, which is over in the city of Niceville. Again, the city of Niceville had a stormwater master plan, and they applied for NIFWIF funding to address their top 5 stormwater projects. Let's see, they got $4.2 million. Then we've got over in Pensacola, the Government Street stormwater pond, which is another $2 million. So there's a trend here that if you have a plan in place, there's the ability to get a lot of money to implement your plans. And that's what NIFWIF has shown that they're designed to do, is if you've got a plan in place and you know your major issues, they are providing funding to implement these issues. So the great thing about Mexico Beach is you recently had a stormwater master plan completed. So I've been spending some time with Jeff and Dina reviewing the master plan and thinking about what type of things that were identified in that plan would make for good projects, good NIFWIF projects, something that we could submit and get the city a significant amount of funding to implement. So the first of these projects that we kind of identified is an outfall canal offshore within the Gulf of Mexico. And this would be to reduce the frequency and intensity of tannins on the beach, as well as economic benefits through tourism. This is the same proposal that Panama City Beach has listed as one of their highest priorities, is to take all their stormwater offshore. This project was initiated up in Myrtle Beach because their health department kept shutting down their beaches because of fecal coliform. So their tourism plummeted, so Myrtle Beach invested $60 million to take all their stormwater and take it offshore. So I'll get into more details of these projects in a second. The second project was to look at Salt Creek at Canal Parkway in terms of stabilizing the channel banks and to protect the adjacent property owners. And then the last of the projects that we thought might be a good contender for NIFWIF funding would be looking at the stormwater over at improvements to Ditch A from New Mexico to Texas Avenue. So this first project that we've kind of looked at, these are actually the schematics from the Myrtle Beach project from ones they've constructed 5 of their 6. And they've all been extremely successful. They've been monitored now for almost 5 years now. So they've got great water quality data. And essentially what's done is they have treatment right in the near shore area. Typically they've been using large baffle boxes. And from these baffle boxes, they drive through 2 8-foot pipes. And they run these things 1,500 foot offshore to an outfall, which is essentially a large rubble mound. And so they've been monitoring the water quality there for 5 years. And when the water, it's got 1,500 feet to slowly interact with salt water. So by the time it gets there, it's not fresh water mixing with salt, it is salt water. And in terms of treatment, it's coming out crystal clear, perfect treatment-wise, no nitrogen, no phosphorus, no fecal coliform, none of those biggies that are going to shut down your beach. And to kind of take off on that project, I'm a fish guy, so these large rubble mounds, that's great habitat. So what we would be proposing for this NIFWIF would be for $600,000 would be to survey, design, and permit such a project, as well as get some funding to do some additional reef structures in and around the area to produce connectivity and improve some of our fisheries out here in the Mexico Beach area. And that's all off, it was 8th Street Canal. That's the one. Second project we talked about doing was addressing Salt Creek as it enters into the canal. Some issues that we've noticed are bank stabilization. There's definitely some erosional issues going on. One of the things I've become recently informed about, and I've gone to some trainings and some conferences, is using geosynthetics. And this the middle picture right there is kind of a cross section of a new product that a guy's developed out of South Carolina. And the exterior of the geosynthetic is actually it's like a Brillo pad, so it traps sand in it. So it looks almost like sandstone. And so it becomes rock hard, resistant, stuff grows all over it. You basically take a sand sample, send it up there, and they blend the fibers to match your sand color. So aesthetically wise, it looks fantastic. So that was one thing we talked about in terms of stabilization, what might be the best option around that area. And the second issue that was, again, I'm a fish guy, was retrofitting the crossing there, culverts. I've never been a big fan of culverts. When you have a structural bottom, it doesn't allow channels to naturally abrade or degrade. And a lot of times, as you'll see in one of those pictures, the water level table has fallen, and so now you've got essentially a dam. So now, in terms of fish passage, connectivity, nothing's moving upstream or downstream. So what we would propose would be either a bottomless arch or box culvert or a bridge across that Salt Creek area. And again, we can curtail the language for NIFWIF. It's all about hydrologic connectivity and getting the critters able to migrate upstream and downstream. And actually, Jeff and I were out there today, and I thought that'd be an awesome opportunity I'm a big stand-up paddler and kayaker and canoeer, to get people access all up through that whole system up there, which is absolutely beautiful. So I think in terms of recreational amenities, that would be really a neat area to go explore and allow people that option. And the third project that we've come up with, on Google Earth, it had it listed as Georgia Avenue. But y'all recently installed 2 baffle boxes with some Northwest Florida Water Management District funding. And one of the things, baffle boxes are great at treating floatables, but they do not do a great job at addressing any type of contaminants, heavy metals, nitrogen, or phosphorus. So what we would be proposing would be removing all that existing concrete and creating an actual bioretention pond, and expanding upstream to allow a little more volume, to allow that water to sit and allow natural plantings to do their natural job and uptake all this nitrogen and phosphorus before it enters in the baffle box system and then into the canal that discharges right out to the Gulf of Mexico. So we're trying to come up with a good number. Looking at previous NIFLIF projects, they have funded implementation projects in excess of millions of dollars. But they typically fund all-encompassing water quality improvement projects in an area. So that's why we thought we could address these 3 issues that have been identified in your Stormwater Master Plan and promoted as a let's improve water quality around Mexico Beach.
Can I just ask you a quick question?
Yes, ma'am.
On this number 3, what we're looking at is Georgia Avenue.
Yes.
But when I look over at number 3 under the proposal, it's the Ditch A from New Mexico to Texas Avenue.
Yeah, it's the same area.
It's all the same.
This is the outfall.
Includes. Gotcha. Thank you. That's all. Thank you.
And then, anybody have any questions?
I actually have some questions, but I don't even know what they are yet. So I'm just going to have to think about some things here first and probably ask for a little bit more explanation maybe after I...
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I can come back and we can sit down or email, phone call, whatever is easiest.
Okay, all right, thank you.
It's a lot to digest.
It is. I actually do have one question. You said the 600,000 for number 1 to survey, design, and permit. That proposal with shooting it out into the canal, into the Gulf. Survey, design, and permit. That does not include construction of that design.
Correct.
Okay, and